It's a story that captures the imagination like no other. A strange object blazing a fiery trail across the night sky before impacting the Earth in a remote, desolate location. What was it? Where did it come from? And what happens next? If you're a conspiracy lover, you need to hear this. If you're into weird headlines, then buckle up. But if you want the truth, the real, unvarnished truth behind the sensationalism, then keep watching. Because when reports claim an alien object has fallen to Earth, a predictable and fascinating sequence of events is set into motion. It's a collision between myth and reality, belief and science. And today, we're going to untangle that collision, piece by piece. First, let's dive into the mythology. When a potential crash occurs, a powerful narrative almost instantly takes hold, fueled by decades of science fiction and folklore. The first and most potent myth is that of the artifact. Myth: instant alien artifacts. The idea is intoxicating, that among the wreckage, we will find materials unknown to science, technology that defies our understanding of physics, or even the biological remains of an extraterrestrial crew. The public imagination pictures sleek, otherworldly alloys, fragments of warp drives, or devices humming with an unearthly energy. This belief suggests that the evidence of alien visitation will be obvious, undeniable, and world-changing, just lying there waiting to be discovered by the first person on the scene. It's the ultimate treasure hunt, a fantasy where a simple walk in the woods could lead to a discovery that rewrites human history. This myth is almost always followed by a darker, more paranoid counterpart. Myth: government cover-ups. The story goes that within hours, mysterious black-clad agents from a nameless agency descend upon the site. They cordon off the area, intimidate witnesses into silence, and confiscate every last scrap of evidence. Why? The theories vary. Perhaps they want to reverse engineer the advanced technology for military purposes, creating superweapons in secret. Or maybe they believe humanity isn't ready for the truth, and the revelation of alien life would cause global panic and a collapse of social order. This narrative paints a picture of a powerful, shadowy cabal that controls information, deciding what the public gets to know. The absence of evidence in this view becomes evidence of a cover-up. There's a third related myth that often gets conflated with alien encounters. Myth: secret military technology. In this version of the story, the crashed object isn't alien at all. It's a top-secret next-generation drone, a hypersonic test vehicle, or a spy plane from a clandestine government project. The subsequent cover-up isn't to hide aliens, but to prevent adversaries from learning about our own advanced capabilities. The UFO story becomes a convenient smokescreen to distract from a highly classified military operation. So, with these powerful myths swirling, what is the actual reality when something falls from the sky? The truth is usually far less cinematic, but no less fascinating. Reality: most finds are meteorites. Every single day, Earth is bombarded by tons of material from space. Most of it burns up in the atmosphere, but some pieces survive the fiery descent. These are meteorites. To the untrained eye, they can look strange, often dark, heavy for their size, and covered in a thin, glassy layer called a fusion crust, formed by the intense heat of re-entry. They are literally pieces of other worlds, fragments of asteroids or even Mars and the Moon. They are scientifically priceless, but they are not technological. They are natural space rocks, and they account for the vast majority of verified objects that fall to Earth. But what about the objects that look more manufactured? Reality: most finds are space debris. Orbiting our planet is a massive cloud of man-made junk. There are over 500,000 pieces of debris being tracked, from defunct satellites and spent rocket stages to tiny fragments from orbital collisions. Occasionally, the orbit of one of these pieces decays, and it falls back to Earth. While most of it is destroyed, larger, more robust components made of titanium or stainless steel can survive. A fallen satellite fuel tank or a piece of a rocket fairing can look incredibly bizarre and alien to someone who stumbles upon it in a field. Of course, not every find is an honest mistake. Reality: most finds are hoaxes. The allure of fame and fortune can lead people to perpetrate elaborate deceptions. From welding together scrap metal and artfully burning it, to passing off industrial slag as something otherworldly, hoaxes are an unfortunate but common part of this field. The motivation is simple. A confirmed alien artifact would be the most valuable object on the planet. This leads to a constant stream of fakes that investigators must carefully weed out. Finally, there's the simple fallibility of human perception. Reality. Misidentification. People often see things in the sky they don't understand. Weather balloons can reach enormous altitudes and catch sunlight in ways that make them look like metallic spheres. Re-entering space debris can break up into multiple, seemingly formation-flying lights. Even conventional aircraft, seen from an odd angle or in unusual atmospheric conditions, can be mistaken for something extraordinary. So, when a credible report comes in, how do scientists separate fact from fiction? They employ a rigorous, multi-step process. It begins at the atomic level. Scientists test composition. The first question is, what is it made of? A sample of the material is taken to a lab and analyzed using techniques like mass spectrometry. This process identifies the exact elements and, crucially, their isotopic ratios. Elements on Earth have a very specific and consistent mix of isotopes. If an object has an isotopic signature that doesn't match anything terrestrial, that's a major red flag. This is how we identify meteorites from Mars. Their trapped gases match the Martian atmosphere. So far, no object has ever shown isotopic ratios inconsistent with a natural solar system origin. Next, they look to the sky. Scientists test orbit data. They reconstruct the object's path. By gathering data from eyewitnesses, videos, and radar systems, they can trace its trajectory backward through the atmosphere and into space. This allows them to calculate its pre-entry orbit. Was it in a stable, predictable orbit like a satellite? Or was it on a path consistent with an asteroid from the asteroid belt? An object that made sudden, non-ballistic maneuvers would be truly anomalous. But to date, all reconstructed trajectories of recovered objects have pointed to natural orbits or decaying space debris. Then, they analyze the human element. Scientists test eyewitness reliability. Witness testimony is valuable, but it's also notoriously unreliable. Memory is malleable, and the stress of seeing something shocking can distort perception. Investigators are trained to ask non-leading questions, compare accounts for consistency, and look for corroborating evidence like photos or videos. They understand that what a person believes they saw and what was actually there can be two very different things. Finally, they secure the chain of evidence. Scientists establish a chain of custody. To ensure a find is authentic and hasn't been contaminated or swapped, a strict chain of custody is maintained. From the moment it's collected, the object is documented, photographed, sealed, and tracked. Every person who handles it must sign for it. This prevents any accusations of tampering and ensures that the sample being tested in the lab is the same one that was found at the site. Let's look at a few real-world examples. In 1965, a brilliant fireball was seen over several states before reportedly crashing in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. Eyewitnesses described an acorn-shaped object with strange markings. The military quickly arrived, secured the area, and removed an object under a tarp. The official explanation was that it was a meteor. However, believers point to the military's swift, secretive response as proof of a cover-up. Years later, NASA suggested it was likely the re-entry of a Soviet satellite, Cosmos 96. This fits the trajectory and explains the military interest during the Cold War, but for many, the Kecksburg incident remains a classic case of a potential craft being whisked away. Then there's the 2008 Needles fireball in California. A massive, bright object was seen streaking across the sky, and a man later found strange, melted metallic lumps in the desert. He was convinced it was a UFO crash. Scientists from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory investigated. They analyzed the material and found it was primarily iron, but with isotopic ratios consistent with terrestrial origin. Further investigation revealed the man's truck had a broken catalytic converter, which can eject molten metallic slag. The alien material was from his own vehicle. These cases highlight the investigative process. In Kecksburg, the lack of a physical object leaves the mystery open to interpretation. In Needles, the presence of physical evidence allowed for a definitive, albeit mundane, conclusion. In the end, it all comes down to one of the core tenets of science. The bottom line: extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence. The claim that a vehicle from another star system has crashed on our planet is perhaps one of the most extraordinary claims imaginable. Therefore, it requires the highest possible standard of proof. A blurry photo, a strange piece of metal, or a breathless eyewitness account is not enough. The evidence must be verifiable, repeatable, and able to withstand the most rigorous scrutiny from the global scientific community. And so far, after decades of searching and investigating, the evidence for every alleged crash site has always pointed back to more familiar sources: space rocks, our own space junk, or human error and deception. Not little green men. The search for truth continues, but it must be guided by evidence, not by hope or by myth.